Hi there, I'm Ahsan Ali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. Today, we are going to talk about 5D consciousness and its collective impact, of its collective awakening impact, and how we are ascending from the 3D consciousness into the higher state and energy of consciousness, 5D. And today we are going to have a roundtable discussion. Before jumping into the discussion of 5D consciousness, first of all, we have to look and what is and define what is consciousness. Consciousness, the dictionary definition says that the consciousness is when you are aware of your environment internally and externally. And let's go a bit deeper into this definition. Uh, Aware of your environment. We get aware of the environment through audio and visual, through touch, smell, through tasting different things. That's how we perceive things. That's how we learn things. And what about what about the dreams, the visions, the things the people we meet? It makes us feel that we know them somehow. We have met them somewhere, and these are some of the common experiences that we all experience, but we can't prove them physically. And this is consciousness. And as many of you know, that we live in a three-dimensional reality of this world and three-dimension consciousness. The three-dimension consciousness of this world it involves a lot of struggle and conflicts between masculine and feminine energies. And this and the 540 consciousness is uh, when you start to aware of the environment that you are bigger than this, then you start to realize your own energies. And 5D consciousness is when you realize and you realize that you are the one. Everyone on this planet is one, and you start to create your own reality. This is 5D consciousness, and it's uh, just a tip on the iceberg. And today we are going to dive much deeper into the 5D consciousness and its awakening impact, and how many healers and other experts think that we are moving, we are ascending from the lower state energy and lower state of consciousness to the higher state, and much more. And it's time to introduce my guest. My first guest is Ariella Strauss, and she has joined us from the US. And the second guest is Gary Murk. He has joined us from Alberta, Canada. And fourth is Jodie Skellie. He has also joined us from the US. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Very good.
Doing
See,
well.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean,
And
what's the other choice, right?
no, you have the choice not to.
Yeah, exactly. You have the choice.
Yes,
You're either
but
doing good or you're doing bad.
yes, and you make the choice of to be happy and to be
Yeah.
on the show, and yeah, and I'm gonna. Jody, can you hear me? You
We can't
okay?
hear you.
We can't hear. We can't hear you. Check. Have you? Is your mic off? And okay. If you are just joining us, guys, just please share the video and tag other people. And if I can, the reason I can see you can see your name here on Facebook user is because just click on there's a link, StreamYard link in the description. Click on it and give permission to StreamYard to show your name. Once StreamYard has the permission, then you will see your name. Hey Anthony, okay, good to see you. And thanks. Okay, we can't hear you. Can you? Okay. Can you use your earbuds or something?
Try exiting and coming back in, Jodie. And make sure that you check that the mic is active and that your headphones, you should be able to, you're hearing us. So just exit, come back in, and rejoin.
Yes. Just close the
Uh,
page and.
yeah, it's a good thing I can lip sync. I can lip read.
Okay. 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 I'm gonna start our discussion with Ariella
Yes.
Strauss. And how do you define 5D consciousness, and what are your views on 5D consciousness?
Right. So first of all, how I experience it is whether
Mhm,
you talk about lucid dreaming or just
mhm,
seeing on a different spiritual level.
mhm,
I'm not going to go into all the discussions, but I have all the clairs. I believe that everybody has all the
mhm,
clairs. It's tuning into it. It's
mhm,
actually tapping into it. Is whether or not you could
mhm,
actually activate them or not, from what I understand.
mhm,
And Gary can correct me
mhm,
if I'm wrong. But
mhm,
because of all those different, because the seeing, the different clairs, whether it's clear seeing, clear hearing, feeling,
mhm,
smelling, tasting, and knowing, all your senses. That helps me get
mhm,
to a different spiritual level because it's not
mhm,
just what we naturally see. It goes beyond that. At least that's what I experience when I go into the 5D and, or I should say the 4D and above. 4,
mhm,
5, and further. So
Mhm.
that's my
mhm,
experience. Back to you.
mhm. Okay. And Jody has just joined us, and hopefully, uh, okay,
Still can't
you
hear you,
can't.
Jody.
Yeah, still can't hear you. Okay. And now I'm gonna move to
Jody, do you have a set of
Gary.
headsets that you can put on? Try with.
Earbuds. Yes. Okay.
I think she just rolled off the bed.
Yes. She's
Go
very
ahead and
excited
go.
about.
Yeah, I can see she's excited. We'll get her to calm
Yes.
down a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's all part of it, right? It's raw and it's real.
Yes, it's on.
Okay.
Yes, it's part of it.
So
Yeah.
the question again,
The
Ahsan, was
question
in.
is about 5D consciousness and ascension, and it was Jodie's idea to talk about the 5D consciousness,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was your idea to talk about the ascension. Now,
Yes.
because you suggested ascension, and 5D consciousness is also about ascending to the
Yeah.
highest state.
Yeah. It
And
it,
how do
it, it
you?
all it all joins together. Okay, so the
Yes.
ascension is a process of spiritual awakening. This is not a
Mhm,
process of uh, the planetary beings are going to come and take me and plant a
mhm,
new garden, so to speak.
mhm,
Okay, there's a lot of misconceptions into what
mhm,
the truth of the ascension is, and those that say, well, I'm in 5D right now. I'm going like, okay,
mhm,
then please walk through my wall. Okay, because
mhm.
it's more than this. Okay, the,
Yes.
the 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 whole process of the ascension is wellness with you to
Mhm,
understand that the highest frequency of life is love. And in
mhm,
order to go through the ascension is to
mhm,
attain this level of love with self and love of
mhm,
life. There is
mhm,
no discrimination. There is no judgment. There is no highly opinionated, egotistical drive in the essence of the ascension or in the
mhm,
presence of being in the
mhm,
5D dimension. In this
mhm,
dimensional realm, in 5 dimension or the fifth dimension, it is
mhm,
pure consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the
mhm,
spirituality consciousness, the consciousness of the cosmic connection, and the cosmic connection to life and the process of the evolutionary essence of love. Love
mhm,
is evolutionary. It's always evolving, always constantly
mhm,
becoming stronger and stronger and stronger
mhm,
and more present. And the more that we attune ourselves to the frequency of this love vibration, the love from within, the love of self, the
mhm,
more that we are now going through the dimensional shifts. We're going through the fourth dimension. We're shedding our shadows. We're shedding our yesterdays. we're dreaming, we're seeing clarity, we're seeing challenges. All of this is coming forward to allow us to go into this fifth dimension. But it doesn't stop there. You know, a lot of people are fixed at just 5D. No,
5D.
it's
It's
beyond
modern.
this.
Yes.
Oh, it's way
5D is,
beyond this.
yeah. 5D is
It,
just one term, but
think of it as a stepping stone. Think of it as a
mhm,
ladder that you are
mhm,
climbing one step at a time to get to the highest level of love in all
mhm,
essence, the purity of it. Once
mhm,
you've gone through these steps, your
mhm,
soul has now become that of a pure spirit. It's pure.
mhm,
There's no need for
mhm,
you to relearn. There's no need for you to come back and relearn again and again and again because you've
mhm,
gone through these processes and you now understand your purpose. You understand your
mhm,
presence in this whole evolutionary movement towards the dimensional shifts. The dimensional shift is not just an earthly plane, it is everything that is connected from above, from below, and from within. It's a
mhm,
trinity. Think of it as the body, mind, and soul of yourself,
mhm,
but now your
mhm,
body, this is our presence in the third dimension. Our mind is that in the
is
fourth dimension, and our spirit or soul is now at the fifth
is
dimension
it's
because
the
now
fifth
it's
dimension.
ready. Now it's ready.
Yes.
Now it's ready to be
Mhm,
unified. It's ready to be in the essence of love. It's ready to be shedding of
mhm,
all of what was yesterday.
mhm. And I think that was a 5D consciousness is all about is the
Yes.
unity of your all of your powers and energies. And Jody, can you hear me now? I think she can hear us, but
Oh,
we can't hear you.
we
We
can't
can't
hear
hear
you,
you.
Jody. Okay, Jody,
Okay.
sometimes on
Mhm,
StreamYard, okay, when
mhm.
you go to join in, it's saying test your headphones and test your microphone. So if your
No, not
microphone is
now.
working,
Mhm.
okay, we just got to pause on the video for whatever reason. Okay,
Yes,
so
and
Jody, if can you hear me, Jody? Okay, now log back out, and when you come back into StreamYard, okay, you'll see that it allows you to test your microphone and test your headset. So you have to give it access, permission. If you skip that step, your microphone won't work.
hmm, okay. And again, you were talking about the unity of your body, mind, and soul, 3D
Yes,
consciousness of this world,
yes,
of your physical body,
yes,
and 4D is about your mind, and 5D is the spirituality. Is
yes.
uh, is is the unity of all of your energy, and at that point, you create your own reality.
Exactly.
And I think, yeah.
It's the unity of all senses, your sensory
Mhm,
perceptions. It is
mhm,
the total reconnection to your
mhm,
physical senses,
mhm,
your sight, your touch, your
mhm,
hearing, your taste,
mhm,
all of this. But now it's unified. It has become the driving force of where you are to allow your spirit and your soul
mhm.
to be more, can I say more alive?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
yeah,
the
you
right
can.
way to say it. Maybe it
Mhm.
is. It allows us to be more conscious of
More
our
conscious.
connection to the Christ, our connection to
Mhm,
God, our connection to higher power. Because
mhm,
right now in 3D, a majority of humans think that the only power that's important is their ego. Okay, and then
mhm,
it's look at me, look at what I own, look at what I buy, look at what I do,
mhm,
and all the other garbage and rabbit holes that we can go into. Okay,
mhm,
this is that third dimensional plane, and
mhm,
this ascension is not just you know it's not just about the Christ consciousness. It's also about the
mhm,
awareness that the war that we're in is not your
mhm,
politics, is not your
mhm,
viruses. It is not about your injections or anything like this. This is a spiritual war. It's
mhm,
been going on for eons.
mhm.
Okay? And this time, this golden era, this
This
age of
golden era.
Aquarius, we're
Mhm,
now in it to see what our truthful purpose is. We as
Gary,
humans, yeah.
I was reading about on 5D consciousness yesterday, and this specific era is very important because they also mentioned the mind calendar. I don't know whether it's important here or not, but it's they mention it. The mind calendar, the technology, and what is going on in the world, and people
Mm,
are realizing, people are getting aware, and people are realizing the significance of the consciousness. They are realizing that we are the one. This makes more sense about the 5D consciousness.
I sit on a fence with this one, okay? Mainly because
Mhm,
technology is
Yeah,
something
mhm.
that we as humans create. We
Yeah,
may
I
have been,
think we can.
Jody,
Yes, I
I heard
think
a
we can
peep.
hear. Yeah, I heard of you. Uh, okay, okay. No.
Well, she's,
Okay, can you? Okay, one second. One second. Here. Yeah. Okay. I think you muted herself. Check on. I think you check on somewhere. Uh, you have there must be option somewhere.
yeah.
Yes.
If you, okay,
Yeah.
Jody, do you see on the screen? There's a microphone. Is it red? Is there a red dot on it? White? It's not reddened out. The microphone is not red.
Okay.
I don't know, Jody.
Mhm.
How about
Yes,
sign?
we
Can you
have.
do sign? Can you do sign language? You get her to, sign
if
language.
if she could do this, I don't understand the sign language. Do you understand the sign
Well,
language?
if we were all in 5D at the moment, actually,
Yes.
we wouldn't have to say
Yes.
anything. Okay, it would be
Yes.
simple.
Yes.
Okay.
We just it will be like telepathy of minds that we are just talking with each
Yes.
other. And
Yes.
yes, and thank you, Amanda, for
Here,
joining us.
here's something that I can tell you about the
Uh,
more that you work,
mhm,
or the more that you become open and aware. Okay,
mhm,
the more that you become in tune and attuned.
mhm,
No, in tune and attuned. There's a difference between the two
mhm,
of them. Okay,
mhm,
attuned to essence of
mhm,
life around you and
mhm,
essence of life within you. When you are attuned or tuned to the essence of life within you, your sensory perceptions, your
mhm,
telepathy, your intuition, your sense to feel vibrations and energy all around you
mhm,
amplifies, because
mhm,
now you've shed the you've shed the weights of yesterday. Okay,
mhm,
those weights are no longer holding you back. You've let go. In order
mhm,
to be in the ascension, you cannot be with yesterday's memories. You
mhm,
cannot be with yesterday's stories. You can
mhm,
be with the wisdom.
mhm,
And from that wisdom, you apply it into the new unified Eden, this Eden that is already present. In fact,
mhm,
we think that going into 5D, we're going to arrive to Eden. Eden is
mhm,
already underneath our feet.
mhm,
It's right here, right now, but we're blinded. We're blinded by everything that the 3D world is shoving down on us. It's keeping us
mhm.
disconnected from this essence of spiritual awakening. It's keeping us disconnected from the essence of heart. It's keeping us disconnected from our soul. So
Gary, why do you think that this time is so important? And what factors makes this kind about 5D consciousness?
I got part of it. Part of it cut out.
Mhm.
Hold on a second. I'm just turn.
Uh, uh,
I got
okay,
I got the
okay,
music going. So just a second.
okay, okay, I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna pose this question to Ariella.
Yeah. Let
Ariella, okay, Gary is back. Okay, I'm gonna pose this question to all of our guests. Start with you, Gary. what factors do you think make 5D consciousness about this particular time so important?
What practice?
What factors?
What
What
factors?
point? Yes,
Heart.
yes.
Heart. In fact, for me, it's one factor and one factor
Mhm,
only. It's about my heart, how my heart speaks, how my heart feels, how my heart sees. My heart sees before my
mhm.
eyes do. In fact,
Hey,
it's a
Helen.
proven research. The
Mhm,
heart sees before the eyes do. So
mhm,
if you are acknowledging what your heart is saying,
mhm,
that is the tool that allows you to be connected to the Christ energies, the Christ consciousness, the essences of God consciousness, the essence of the higher realm of spirituality, because it's beyond the physical understandings that the mind holds on to, because it comes from the heart. That is
mhm,
the only tool, the
mhm,
purest tool required for you to move through this ascension. If
mhm,
you've got your heart tuned off, you're not going to ascend. You won't.
mhm.
You have.
Okay, Gary, heart is one factor. Internally, I accept, and I agree. What external factors do you see are important, and they are making towards the 5D, and at this time so important?
Hmm. External factors for me are the ones that are connecting with me in
Mhm,
like-mindedness. That
mhm,
means that as I'm walking my path and as I'm
mhm,
walking my truth, I am
mhm,
now connecting with others that are walking with their truth, but they're
mhm,
also walking with the same essence. Their
mhm,
heart is speaking. They
mhm,
see with heart. They feel with heart. If you are not allowing the
mhm,
heart of another to connect with you, okay, you're going to miss the boat of what this ascension is. The ascension is not about here I am, the individual. I've reached my 5D, and everything's beautiful. No, you're going to get a rude awakening. You still got work to do. You don't think that you're going to get to 5D and that the world's going to be perfect. No, it's not. Okay, we still have work to do. We will always have work to do. But the key to this work is the heart. Your soul is directly connected to your heart. Your heart speaks the language of your soul, not the language of your mind. When you let go of this and the program, this will now become the computer. It'll basically be the actionary, reactionary essence of what your heart is saying to do, what your heart is telling you to do. When you are with this, and I will stand until my last breath, is that my heart knows the truth. It sees the truth. It feels the truths. And that is not in that truth, I don't engage. And many people are coming to me and saying, Gary, how do when are we going to get to this? When are we going to get to that? When is this going to happen? The only way it's going to happen is by listening to the heart. No matter how hard, how sorrowful, how hurt it is, you need to listen to the heart. And when you listen to the heart, you will speak with the heart. No matter what other tools there are. There's millions of tools that can say, well, here's this to help you go through the ascension. Here's that to help you go through the ascension. Here's a shaman that took a 30-day course and says, I'm a shaman and I'll take you through the ascension. No.
mhm,
Nobody is going to take you or lead you through the ascension. Your heart will. Your heart will know. Your heart will feel. And it will be in the essence of the fifth dimension. But it will also still have place in 4D and still
mhm.
have place in 3D. We
3D.
are connected to a physical world.
Mhm,
The earth is below our feet.
mhm,
Gaia is the intent of what we need to connect to because her love allows us to be stronger in the love going forward, stronger in the love connecting with the cosmos, stronger in love connecting with the Father of the universe. It's not just about here's Mother Earth and Pachamama. There's Pachitaki, which is the Father of the universe. He is the almighty energy of the masculine side of what life is. It's not about an essence of a human. It's about an essence of this masculine strength of energy that is protective, that has always been there. And listening to your heart and allowing your heart to come forward allows you to now walk in love, feel in love, and be in love, but not with another, with you, with you. Because when you're in love with you, the others will arrive. When
Yes.
you're optimistic, the others will arrive. If you're pessimistic, you know what happens. If you're negative, you know what happens. If you use your social media to just post out the negative medias, what happens? You get banned. Oh,
Mhm.
why? Okay, flip it.
Gary, Gary, you talk about the heart, and I'll ask you this question later on. I think Ariella has been listening to us for a very long time,
Yeah,
and
it's
she
Ariel's
didn't
turn.
get a chance. Yeah, it's her turn, and we still can't hear you, Jody. No, okay, but you
But she
look
looks
good.
pretty.
She looks pretty on the bright side. Okay,
She's
Ariella.
she's holding space. There we go.
Yes, shielding space. And Ariella, what factors do you see? What factors make this time so important for the 5D consciousness and for the higher energy state?
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with Gary as far as the
Mhm,
heart uh,
mhm,
chakra, our heart being open.
mhm, mhm,
And I'll even go to the further step, agreeing with
mhm,
that as far as my
mhm,
journey. And again, I had my spiritual awakening 2 years ago.
mhm,
So even though I experienced different things all my life, the acknowledgement of it has been
mhm,
like 2 years and on. And it was like a tidal wave when everything came in. I was
Mm.
like,
mhm,
whoa, what? Again, I guess it makes sense. Like it still was going, it was still in motion, but I wasn't aware of it.
mhm,
And when you become aware of it, it's a lot more intense. And I will say, besides the heart, which I also connect with my soul, it's also a soul connection, not just in a mind form, but when you're connected with your soul and you go to that higher level again with the acknowledgement. That's to me, that's a one big step and needed because some people when they try this journey, and I've been there, and I've learned, and I'm learning from my lessons, is that you think your mind's opened or you're expanded to it, but then you let maybe your past or society limit you again. So you're not really open and accepting to it, even though you think you are. But once you fully become open and accepted to go to these different levels, it's easier to embrace more. At least it was for me. So so you have to have your heart. You have to be in it with your heart and your soul. So I'll just add that.
I
okay.
like that.
Huh. Gary, you talk about the heart and
Yes.
listening to your mind, and especially listening to your heart and your heart nerves. And the question is, how do you know? How do you? What makes you think that your heart is in the right place?
Because I feel it.
Mm,
It talks to me. It
mhm,
allows me to feel emotions that many
mhm,
run away from.
mhm,
Many a man, many a woman runs away from the truth of the emotions. We get
mhm,
stuck into the mind fuckery,
mhm,
spins out of control, and we're not feeling what the heart is
mhm,
telling us. It's
mhm,
not just a voice, it's a feeling.
mhm,
My
mhm,
heart feels the purity of another soul. My heart feels the energy of another. My heart feels you, feels Jody, feels Ariel, because I'm tuned to my heart. I've decided to accept everything that my heart has been through. I've accepted the hurts, I've accepted the downfalls, and I've accepted its mistakes. It's not because the heart is pure that it's not going to make a mistake. The heart wants to believe in the depth of love just as much as the mind does. And sometimes the mind and the heart, it's a yo-yo match, and we make a mistake. But that it isn't a mistake to say go back and say, you know what? No, there's a mistake that was meant to learn from. There's a film, and I recommend to everybody always to watch this film. It's called The Power of the heart and what the heart is capable of doing in the most extreme situations. Take one excerpt from this film where this lady, for more than 60 days, with other women, are hiding in a washroom because they're fearing for their life. The people of the same color, the same race, are trying to kill them. And it was only by the power of the heart, by the power of forgiveness, by the power of love that they actually survived. And she had enough power in her to look at the man that killed her family, killed the children before her, and said, I forgive you, and that I love you. That is how powerful the heart can be. So to walk with the heart doesn't mean that we're not going to be faced with challenges.
With
Doesn't mean that,
challenges.
we may be hurt again. It's okay to be hurt. People say,
Mhm.
you know what? I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to love again. I'm going to close my heart off. Okay. Why?
But, mhm,
We're meant to face the elements of
mhm,
nature, just as,
mhm.
in regards to our immunity, as much as we are meant to face the
To face
elements
these
that
challenges.
challenge the heart, that challenge our love, that challenge our respect of self, that challenge our individuality.
Yeah,
We're meant,
we live in a 3D consciousness of this world.
oh my God,
So we are
we
meant
live,
to.
we live
Yeah,
in an
yes,
we live in an egotistical, self-centered world that's all
yes.
about consumerism and
Mhm.
corruption. No matter which way we look at it, it's
You just
consumerism and corruption.
you just
When
can't
we,
close your eyes. You
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 can't
you.
close your eyes. I mean,
Yeah, the
you know,
struggle is a part of it, and making a choice after struggling through it, after going through all of these troubles and hardships, and when you make the choice to better than this and to bigger than this, and I think that's where I think and your heart knows that you are in the right direction.
I'll give you just an example, and then we're going to let Ariel speak because I'm
Okay.
speaking. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'll give you an example. Recently, some some friends and people who know me came together and for my birthday decided that they wanted to buy koi fish for me because of my koi. I lost my koi this year and the other ones in the whole story. And I still to this day have a hard time with this act of generosity, this act of caring for me because I've been so much with allowing my heart to heal in its journey for almost 60 years that when you offer me something, it's like, no, I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't deserve it. Maybe it's I don't deserve it because I'm still growing. It's not because that I have a broader perspective of the spiritual mind and a very, very connected heart. That doesn't mean that I still have my challenges. And then today, another person comes to me and says, Gary, I want to buy you 2 more koi. And I'm just speaking in this, my emotions are running. Okay, because I have a very special connection to the animal world and the mammal world and everything else other than outside of humans. So, it's very vast. And this act of generosity and compassion towards me, I'm like, why? Why? What have I done that's allowed that you want to do this for me? I don't do anything. And I know, and I believe Ariel's the same, and I believe you're the same, and I believe Jodie and many others that I'm aware of. We're not doing it for recognition. I'm not doing
We are
what I
doing.
do for recognition. You know what? Take me off the screen and I'll still speak. Okay. One way or another, I'm going to speak. Okay. I do it because I have a love of life. And I believe that we will unify. I believe that we will live a better world. I truly believe this. Okay. And I won't let go of this, no matter how hard the challenge is. I'm not going to let go of it. So that enough. I'm going to say Ariel's turn.
Okay, Ariel comes down.
Okay, where should I start? I already answered the other question. Do you have another question, or should I just speak on my?
Just comment. Just whatever Gary said, comment on it. Your comments on Gary's views.
Well, I agree with what he's saying about I'll put it in my own words, but
Okay,
basically
okay.
I guess
We started our discussion. I posed the question that how what makes you feel that your heart is in the right place? Because there are many factors that you should do this and you should do that. What makes you think that your heart is in the right place?
well again I have to agree
Mhm,
with Gary. I feel it, and it's not just the feeling
mhm,
from your mind that can change. Like here in Texas, we say like, our mind could change like the weather. It's not that. It's the deep down in your bones type of feeling, like you're going with your intuition, going with what's inside you. That's how I could tell that it's coming from the heart. It's because it doesn't change. And I agree with him. Like society wants us one way, and we can't form and into that box. It's weird with me. Right now, being almost 44 years young next month. It's funny how all my life I was searching and I wanted to be fit in with everybody else. And I'm getting to the point like, wait a minute, I had it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to fit into what they consider it. I don't need to fit in anywhere. But as far as the creator, the divine, they said just, speaking of your soul, speaking of your intuition, you're going the right way. I'm waking up to what they wanted me to be all along. And I don't need society's permission. I'll just put it that way.
Mm.
Yeah, so it comes from my deep in my bones, deep in my heart. I'm sure Gary understands what I'm talking about. Without, even though I'm an author, I'm actually wordless right now as far as like, how do I describe it? Um, but give an example. The past 48 hours, I launched my YouTube channel with the mission that I'm working on to help other people in the soul connection, and a couple of people reached out and they gave positive remarks, but they said, besides what you said, which I agree with the topics, they said you really reached deep inside me. They're like, we wanted to say, along the topic I was talking about so many times. They're like, you just put it in the words that what I told them is what they wanted to say along that they couldn't express, and it really touched their soul, and that touched my soul. I'm like, if I get one view or a million views, if I helped one person, that
that's
makes me
what
happy.
matters.
That's
Yeah.
what matters.
Mhm,
Yeah, so that, that's just one example, and I'm very, happy with that, but not getting in the ego, type of
mhm,
happy. But I'm just like, wow,
mhm,
it actually does matter,
mhm,
but yeah, but speaking of, the 5D, we could reach not just on the physical level with people we meet in everyday life.
mhm,
I'm beginning to, and again, I don't want to get this into like the extraterrestrial stuff, like Gary's saying with that, not getting over there in that topic yet, but I'm meeting different souls, whether people say from your past ancestors to other souls that I didn't even know was around when I opened up these different conscious levels.
Mm-hmm.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm still learning this. That's why I wanted to be on this show, to get wisdom from Gary and to also put my input in. But I don't believe, some people want to say there's only so many levels to dimensions. I don't believe that there is. I'm like, you can't put a cap on it.
Good.
We don't know. As far as what I experienced, as far as the highest level I've experienced so far, and again, I'm using
mhm,
the word so far, all the way up to the 12th dimension. And I will tell you, I thought I got dizzy at the fifth dimension. The higher you
mhm,
get, you're like, whoa.
Oh
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
anyway, that's my input. So yeah. So just to
Mhm,
recap, it comes from deep down in my heart where it's not wavering.
mhm.
To
And Gary, we are if it was Jodie's idea to talk about 5D consciousness, and she couldn't make it, and there was some mic
technical
issue.
glitches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, technical glitches, and we will discuss it. I think we should discuss it in next week and wait for to join us and share our views. What are your final thoughts on consciousness and 5D consciousness? and ascension to the higher state.
I'm going to agree with Ariel very much
Mhm,
so, because
mhm,
there's no limit
mhm,
to these levels that we set. You know, as an example, here's 5D, here's 6D,
mhm,
here's 7D,
mhm,
here's 8D,
mhm,
here's 9D. It's a
mhm,
stepping stone. Okay,
mhm,
it's a stepping stone that takes us to the cosmic connection of all
mhm,
life.
mhm,
Once we're in the full flow, the fluidity and the flux of this connection of life, it's not about dimensions. They don't exist anymore, because now you are uniquely the individual connected to the whole flux and fluidity of all life, whether it's on this planet, whether it's on another planet, whether it's on another in another dimension, whether it's in a interverse, multiverse. It's all comes back to the connection of all life. This is not a dimensional stepping stone. These are the learning steps. You know, we look at what we've gone through in 3D. If we look at all of the history and everything that has transpired right to this moment, where are we? We're at an awakening that is ripping apart families, ripping apart societies, and basically separating us. But it's also shaking this up and shaking the heart up. And now the heart's starting to come out. And I'm seeing many, many people that are, coming around to understanding that they can't go forward with anger. They can't go forward with, the mind fuckery. You go forward with heart. You go
mhm.
forward with love. And you allow it to expand. Don't set a limit at 5D, 6D, 7D, or whatsoever. It's beyond that. Okay? Learn, learn from the dimensions, and keep learning,
Yeah.
because there's no going back. You can't go back. We cannot go back to the way that it was in this three-dimensional realm. If we do, there's going to be nothing left. I'm sorry to say it, but there will be nothing left for humanity if we allow it to still keep on going the way that it is. Enough.
Now,
Ariel's turn.
Ariella, your final thought.
All right. So besides adding to what Gary said, which I agree with him as well, my final thought is the first question. The question you asked is, you've got to, as I already said, you've got to be in this with your whole heart and your whole soul,
Oh yeah.
and your mind has to be opened, even if you're scared. Which scared is okay. Good scared is okay, but the point is, you've got to be all in. You can't be half in. You've got to be all in with it and just enjoy the ride. That's all I have to say for that.
It's a roller coaster.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Asan,
Okay.
you've read a lot, and I have a question for you, Asan. You've
Okay,
read a
please.
lot about this. Okay,
Mhm.
so how do you
I,
see the
mhm.
ascension?
How do I see ascension? I see, and the thing I read, and I agree with those things, and it's about the ascension from. Uh, I think there's a. Can you hear a little background echo?
Just a little bit, but that's okay.
Okay, okay. Uh, uh, 5D ascension, the 3D, the world we live in today, and we cannot ignore the struggle, the pains, and the conflicts within us and conflicts externally. We cannot avoid those conflicts, but we have to work on our heart, on our mind, on our soul. We have to be better than this. We have to rise from these conflicts, from because these conflicts, the reality, the world, and in which we are living today, these are variables. These all of these things are temporary,
Yes.
but our mind, our soul, I think is permanent, and the way, and it's going to stay with us forever. So we shouldn't let these variable factors to impact us
No.
internally, and we have to rise above from these conflicts, and we have to realize that we all of us all across the world, whether you are in Alberta, Canada, or here in Punjab, Pakistan, or you are in Australia, or anywhere else, all across the world, wherever you are. We, all of us, all people, all human beings, all human race, we, all of us are the same. We are the one, and this consciousness, this visioning, this streaming, and I don't know how to say it, but this energy of the universe, it connects all of us. And when you realize that you are the one, then at that point you create your own reality. And
Very
I
much
think
so.
these are my views. And with my views, I think uh, we should finish our live, and hopefully Jody would join us next week. And uh, what we discussed today is just tip on the
Oh
iceberg.
my
And
God,
good, yeah,
it's
yeah.
so much. One of the
Mhm,
actually viewers made a
mhm,
comment, and I'd
mhm,
like to repeat this so
mhm,
that everybody can really grasp this.
mhm,
Okay, it says, Kat says, "Yet I have it. I feel it.
mhm,
It's an
mhm,
invisible power of my love, my
mhm,
light.
mhm,
The power of your
mhm,
light is the power of my love, my
mhm,
light. And
mhm,
together we will change the past. In fact,
mhm,
forget about even talking about the past. We will create a new world, not a new order, but a new world. And this emotional side of us will connect with all hearts, all humans, all life. And freedom will no longer be a question. Freedom will no longer be a word because it will be. This is what our higher purpose is. We are meant to be sovereign, free spirit. It's within us, it's within
mhm,
everyone.
mhm.
Enough.
Yes, and thank you, Gary, for your wonderful views, and thank you, Ariella, for joining us. And ascension into the higher state and higher state of consciousness. And it will just tip on the iceberg. We just
Oh, yeah.
barely scratch the surface. And next week we are going to dig down a much deeper. And hopefully technical glitches will be gone from the Jody side. And she would join us, and she really has many interesting things to
Yep.
share. And thank you guys, and thank you, Carol. Thank you,
Namaste.
Amanda, thank you, and many other people, Ellen, Helen, and all of you for joining us, for your wonderful comments. I'm going to reply to all of you, and Gary will get back to you as soon as
Yep.
he can. And and thank you, and have a good day, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are.